Shri Advaita Gadadhara Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22. So this is a new chapter we are beginning today. Yesterday we finished that how Pṛthu Mahārāja was giving instructions to the citizens to engage in their occupational duties for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, and how the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas were so pleased with Pṛthu Mahārāja and they were glorifying him. So chapter 22, Pṛthu Mahārāja's meeting with the four Kumāras. Maitreya Vacha
Maitreya Uvacha
Janeshu Pragranatis Evam
Janeshu Pragnatasu Evam
Prithum Prathula Vikramam
Prathum Prathula Vikramam
Tatropa Jagmur Munayash
Tatro Upajagmo Muniyo
Chatvara Surya Varchasaha.
Chatvara Surya Varchasaha.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The great sage Maitreya said, while the citizens were thus praying to the most powerful King Pṛthu, the four Kumāras who were as bright as the sun arrived on the spot. Tamstu Sudeshwaran Raja
Tamstu Siddhishwaran Raja
Vyomno Vatarato Richisa
Vyomno Avatarata Archisaha
Lokan Apapan Kurvanan
Lokan
Tokan
apapan
Apanam
Sanugo Chashta Lakshitan.
sanugochashtalakshmitam.
Lakshitan.
Seeing the glowing effulgence of the four Kumāras, the masters of all mystic power, the king and his associates could recognize them as they descended from the sky. The four Kumāras are described herein as Siddheshwaran, which means masters of all mystic power. One who has attained perfection in yoga practice immediately becomes master of the 8 mystic perfections. To become smaller than the smallest, to become lighter than the lightest, to become bigger than the biggest, to achieve anything one desires, to control everything, etc. So these eight mystic siddhis, when one practices yoga perfectly, then they can get this eight siddhis. They are sure very tempting to have because you get so much power, but so many people then they stop after they just get the siddhis. They stop their yoga practice to go further and further to realize the Supreme Lord. So they're distracting also. These four Kumāras as Siddheshwaras had achieved all the yogic perfectional achievements, and as such, they could travel in outer space without machines. While they were coming to Maharaj Pṛthu from other planets, they did not come by airplane, but personally. Good. Nice, no? Especially when we don't get seats and all that. But anyways, as we just said, it's distracting, then it distracts us from actually going towards the Supreme Lord. But the pure devotees, they have these siddhis, but they don't show it. The pure devotees, they don't show. So in other words, these four Kumāras were also spacemen who could travel in space without machines. The residents of the planet known as Siddhalok can travel in outer space from one planet to another without vehicles. However, the special power of the Kumāras mentioned herewith is that whatever place they went would immediately become sinless. Now they are so pure that they're immediately able to purify the place they are in. Like the sun. The sun is purifying, no? Even when there is like urine or dirt somewhere, the sun will evaporate it, will purify the place. So during the reign of Maharaj Pṛthu, everything on the surface of this globe was sinless, and therefore the Kumāras decided to see the king. Ordinarily, they do not go to any planet which is sinful. So they are so pure that wherever they go, that whole area becomes sinless. Wow. Tad darshanodgatan pranan
तद्दर्शनो उद्गतान् प्राणान्
pratyadistur ivothitaha
प्रत्यादिस्तु इवोदितः
sa sadasyanugovenya
तत्सदस्य अनुगोवेन्या
indriyeshu gunan iva.
इन्द्रियेशे गुणान् इव.
Seeing the four Kumāras, Pṛthu Maharaj was greatly anxious to receive them. Therefore the king, with all his officers, very hastily got up, as anxiously as a conditioned soul whose senses are immediately attracted by the modes of material nature. That's us, we conditioned souls. Our senses get so attached, and the modes make us dance. Bhagavad Gita 3:27, it is said, Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Every conditioned soul is influenced by a particular mixture of the modes of material nature. This is our condition. We are influenced, or different combination and permutation of these three modes of material nature. As such, the conditioned soul is attracted to certain types of activity, which he's forced to perform because he's completely under the influence of material nature. So we think we are independent, freedom, we fight for our freedom, but actually we are controlled by the material energy through these modes. Here, Pṛthu Maharaj is compared to such a conditioned soul, not because he was conditioned soul, but because he was so anxious to receive the Kumāras that it was as if without them he would have lost his life. The conditioned soul is attracted by the objects of sense gratification. His eyes are attracted to see beautiful things, his ears are attracted to hear nice music, his nose is attracted to enjoy the aroma of a nice flower, and his tongue is attracted to taste nice food. Similarly, all his other senses, his hands, his legs, his belly, his genitals, his mind, etc., are so susceptible to the attraction of the objects of enjoyment that he cannot restrain himself. Pṛthu Maharaj, in the same way, could not restrain himself from receiving the four Kumāras, who were bright by dint of their spiritual progress, and thus not only he himself, but also his officers and associates all received the four Kumāras. So, Bhagavatam is giving our example, how we get so excited when there is a chance for us to gratify our senses, just automatically we'll do because we're so anxious for this kind of enjoyment. So here, it's just the example is given. Of course, Pṛthu Maharaj is liberated, but how we are so anxious to enjoy our senses, and that Pṛthu Maharaj showed like this kind of anxiety that he's, pulled to receive the four Kumāras. It is said birds of a feather flock together. In this world, everyone is attracted by a person of the same category. A drunkard is attracted to persons who are also drunkards. Similarly, a saintly person is attracted by other saintly persons. Pṛthu Maharaj was in the topmost position of spiritual advancement, and as such, he was attracted by the Kumāras, who were of the same category. It is said, therefore, that a man is known by his company. So Pṛthu Maharaj, of course, he is a pure devotee of the Lord. So he is automatically attracted to the pure devotees. And Prabhupada is saying the man is known by his company, who we associate with. So then, Gauravad Yantrita Sabhyaha
गौरवात् यन्त्रितः सभ्य
पश्ययानतकन्दरः
पश्ययानतकन्दरः
विधिवत् पूजयां चक्रे
विधिवत् पूजयां चक्रे
गृहीताधयर्हनाशनान्.
गृहीता अधि अर्ह आसनान्.
Then the great sages accepted the reception according to the instructions of the Shastras and finally took their seats offered by the king. The king, influenced by the glories of the sages, immediately bowed down. Thus he worshipped the four Kumāras. Imagine if the four Kumāras were to come in front of us. How would we receive them? First of all, we just heard Prabhupada said they don't come to many places which are sinful. But imagine. Anyways, the four Kumāras are Parampara spiritual masters of the Vaishnava Sampradaya. Out of the four Sampradayas, namely Brahma Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, and Rudra Sampradaya, the disciplic succession of spiritual master to disciple, known as the Kumar Sampradaya, is coming down from the four Kumāras. So yeah, they are the heads of one of the Sampradaya called Kumar Sampradaya. Sri Sampradaya, does anyone know who is it coming from?
Lakshmi ji.
That's right. Thank you. And Rudra?
Shiva.
Shiva, that's right. Brahma Sampradaya, we are coming in this Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And Kumar Sampradaya is from the four Kumaras. So Pṛthu Mahārāja was very respectful to the Sampradaya Acharyas. As it is said by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sakshat Dharitvena Samashtra Sastra. A spiritual master or the Parampara Acharya should be respected exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Vidhivat is significant in this verse. This means that Pṛthu Mahārāja also strictly followed the injunctions of the Shastra in receiving a spiritual master or Acharya of the transcendental disciplic succession. Whenever an Acharya is seen, one should immediately bow down before him. Pṛthu Mahārāja did this properly. Therefore, the words used here are Prashrayanata Kandaraha. Out of humility, he bowed down before the Kumāras. He's not thinking, I'm a great emperor, and these are just small boys. No, he understands their position. So he's offering his respects to them. Here, Prabhupada is pointing, the spiritual master or Parampara Acharya should be respected exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one may think, hey, what's happening? What do you mean? Only God is God. Yes, of course, only Krishna, only God is God. But the spiritual master, the bona fide Acharya, he should be given equal respect. Why? Because he's showing us Krishna. He's taking us to Krishna. It's like the ambassador, in a foreign country, the ambassador of India, he's given that equal respect as would be given to the president, because he's a representative of the government. So here, he's the representative of the Supreme Lord, the bona fide spiritual master, the bona fide Acharya. Tatpada Shaucha Salile
तत्पाद शौच सलीले
Marjita Lakabandanaha
मार्जिता अलकबंधनः
Tatra Shilavatam Vrittam
तत्र शीलवतामृतम्
Archaran Manayan Iva.
आचरन् मानयन् इव.
After this, the king took the water which had washed the lotus feet of the Kumāras and sprinkled it over his hair. By such respectful actions, the king, as an exemplary personality, showed how to receive a spiritually advanced personality. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Apani Achari Prabhu Jivere Shikhaya. It is very well known that whatever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught in his life as Acharya, he himself practiced. So Acharya means one who teaches by example. Not that, the teacher just says, hey, you do this, you do this, you do this, and the teacher is doing something else. No. No. He teaches by himself, following the teachings, following the predecessor Acharya. He himself practiced when he was preaching as a devotee, although he was detected by several great personalities to be the incarnation of Krishna. He never agreed to be addressed as an incarnation. Even though one may be an incarnation of Krishna or especially empowered by him, he should not advertise that he is an incarnation. So, Pṛthu Mahārāja is also not going around saying, hey, I'm a Shakti-Vesh avatar, No, he is very humbly doing his duty as an emperor, whatever is required of him. And Lord Chaitanya also came to show that. 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya, he's the Supreme Lord himself, but he's coming in the form of a devotee. He's playing the role of a devotee. So if people would call him that, oh, hey, you're Krishna yourself, he would cover his ears and say, hey, you are spoiling my religion. You're going to send me to hell. Don't say such things. I'm a servant of the servant. I'm sorry. People will automatically accept the real truth in due course of time. Pṛthu Maharaj was the ideal Vaishnav king. Therefore, he taught others by his personal behavior how to receive and respect saintly persons like the Kumāras. When a saintly person comes to one's home, it is the Vedic custom to first to wash his feet with water and then sprinkle this water over the heads of oneself and one's family. Pṛthu Maharaj did this, for he was an exemplary teacher of the people in general. So Krishna also did this. Does anyone remember which pastime?
Krishna washed
Huh. Krishna
the
also.
feet of Narad Muni or Sudama. Sudama. He
Sudama.
washed the feet of Sudama.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then sprinkle the water on his head.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Hatakasana asina.
Hatak asane asinan.
Swadhishneshu eva pavakan.
Swadishneshu eva pavakan.
Shraddha samyama samyuktaha.
Shraddha samyama samyukta.
Prita praha bhavagrajan.
Prita graha bhava agrajan.
Four great sages were elder to Lord Shiva, and when they were seated on the golden throne, they appeared just like fire blazing on an altar. Maharaj Pṛthu, out of his great gentleness and respect for them, began to speak with great restraint as follows. So they are elder brothers of Lord Shiva. The Kumāras are described herein as the elder brothers of Lord Shiva. When the Kumāras were born out of the body of Lord Brahma, they were requested to get married and increase the population. In the beginning of the creation, there was a great need of population. Therefore, Lord Brahma was creating one son after another and ordering them to increase. However, when the Kumāras were requested to do so, they declined. They wanted to remain brahmachari throughout life and be engaged fully in the devotional service of the Lord. The Kumāras are called Naishtika Brahmachari, meaning they are never to marry. So Brahmaji, that is his service. No, he's the first created being of the universe. So now it's his service. He has to populate the universe. He has to give. We, the souls, are already put inside there by Mahavishnu, but he has to give us our bodies, our different bodies. So then now he has to populate. So he's creating sons to populate. But four Kumaras said, no, please. We want to just dedicate our lives to devotional service. We don't want to get involved in this married life. Naishtika Brahmachari means They never enter Grihastha ashram. They are like brahmachari from beginning. Because of their refusal to marry, Lord Brahma became so angry that his eyes became reddish. From between his eyes, Lord Shiva or Rudra appeared. The mode of anger is consequently known as Rudra. So this is how Lord Shiva makes his appearance in the material world. He comes from between the eyebrows of Brahmaji. Out of anger, Brahma got so angry. He said, "It's my service. You're not going to help me." So then Lord Shiva appeared. Lord Shiva also has a Sampradaya party known as the Rudra Sampradaya. And they are also known as Vaishnavas. Because Lord Shiva is known as the greatest Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. So, Pṛthuruvacha
Pṛthuruvacha
Aho Architam Kim Me
Aho architam kim me
Mangalam Mangalayanaha
Mangalam Mangalayanaha
Yasya Vo Darshanam Hi Asid
Yasya hi vo darshanam asit
Durdarshanam Cha Yogibihi.
Durdarshanam cha yogibhi.
King Pṛthu spoke, "My dear great sages, auspiciousness personified. It is very difficult for even the mystic yogis to see you. Indeed, you are very rarely seen. I do not know what kind of pious activity I performed for you to grace me by appearing before me without difficulty." When something uncommon happens in one's progressive spiritual life, it should be understood to be incurred by agyata sukriti, or pious activities beyond one's knowledge. Agyata sukriti, unknowingly we do some service for the devotees, or unknowingly we do some kind of a devotional service. So that is agyata sukriti. We may unknowingly buy a book, get some prasad, help a devotee somewhere. To see personally the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his pure devotee is not an ordinary incident. When such things happen, they should be understood to be caused by previous pious activity, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:28. Yesham tva antagata papam jananam punya karmanam. One who is completely free from all the resultant actions of sinful activities and who is absorbed only in pious activities can engage in devotional service. So, one whose completely sinful activities are gone, then one can engage in pure devotional service. So here we can see, the devotees were once asking Srila Prabhupada, that means we have done pious activities in our previous life. That's why we are engaging in devotional service. Prabhupada said, I'm creating your pious activity. That is the mercy of a pure devotee. Everywhere he goes, he spreads devotional service. He creates devotees. That's the compassion, the mercy of a pure devotee. Although Maharaj Pṛthu's life was full of pious activities, he was wondering how his audience with the Kumāras happened. He could not imagine what kind of pious activities he had performed. This is a sign of humility on the part of King Pṛthu, whose life was so full of pious activities that even Lord Vishnu came to see him and predicted that the Kumāras would also come. Yeah, Lord Vishnu had also come himself, no? So Pṛthu Maharaj, because he is a Shaktiavesh avatar after all, but he's being an example of humility, not that, oh yeah, I know. For Kumāras, of course, I'm so great. Of course, they're going to come and meet me. But no, he's saying, oh my God, what good have I done? What pious activity have I done that I'm able to have this good fortune of being able to see the Kumāras, have a meeting with the Kumāras? So he's being an example of humility.
Yeah, so so surprising, right? That he himself is Shakta-Vesh avatar, and he's so humble and he's so happy seeing the four
Yes.
Kumaras. He's feeling that how fortunate he is, what he has done. Like, you know, normal person thinks that's okay. But he's setting an example that how we should receive and how we should feel,
Mm.
isn't it?
Yes, thank you. Yes. He's not going around advertising, hey, I'm the Shakti Avatar. Of course they're going to come and see me, you know. Sometimes we may get carried away. Oh, I'm doing so much, and so of course this
Yes,
has happened.
yes,
You know.
yes. No, obviously so much to learn. Like everything in our life, we need to imbibe this in our lives.
Yeah.
And we can just pray, because we as a human also get carried away sometimes, that yes, oh, I did it, listen, I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying about myself, because it's very small things. We are human and we are full of mistakes. So yes, we get carried away in situations and we want to take the credit, and not also
Yeah.
credit, we just want to advertise our things. Oh, I did it, I did it.
I know, right?
But yeah, so but very nice that we should be humble. He being like, he's already the Shaktavish avatar, and still he's so humble. Wow. Jai Pṛthu Maharaj ki jai. So beautiful.
Jai. Thank you. Thank you. Neha ki jai.
No, Neha Shilpa ji ki jai. All Bhakta Vrind ki jai.
Ki jai. Shila
All
Prabhupada.
all
Jai.
yes, Prabhupada ki
Bhagavatam
jai.
ki jai. Hari Bol.